Alright, all set. And 3, 2, 1, action! This is Cinematic Motif. Hello, I'm Wanson, the film columnist and a content creator, and welcome back to Cinematic Motif, where I introduce you films in Taiwan and around the world. And of course, we start with a Taiwanese film as our motif every week to explore films with a similar topic in cinema around the world. So today, we are actually going to talk about films about filmmaking, right? So let's go with our very first prologue. That's what I call about this very start of the show. Let's go. Alright, so welcome back to the show today. I have my movie guest, Allen.
Hi, I'm back again.
Okay, so today we are going to talk about films about filmmaking, and I want to start with a Taiwanese documentary that you might be of interest. This movie is called The Moment, or 我们的那时此刻. Allen, have you heard about this film?
No.
You're not a fan of documentary, right?
No.
Alright, so this film is a 2016 documentary directed by director Yang Li-zhou. He's a very, very well-known documentary director here in Taiwan. And this film, The Moment, is actually a project for the 50th anniversary of the Golden Horse Awards, 金马奖. So they have this documentary about the 50 years of film history in Taiwan. And this film, basically, this documentary talks about the film history in Taiwan. You can see basically every film that you know about Taiwanese film history in the film. Let's give it a test. So, Allen, please tell us some films that you know of in Taiwan.
The most famous one must be 海角七号, right?
Yeah, 海角七号, Cape number 7. 色戒, it's a film by Ang Lee.
Yeah, I think Love Caution.
Love Caution, yes.
And 赛德克巴莱.
Citic Ballet.
Yeah.
I want to tell you this. So, each of the films that you just talked about is in this documentary. You can see every of it in this film. And this film talks about how Taiwanese film goes from, you know, the how do you call it? The 爱国片, you know, the nationalism, the patriotic films, to Taiwanese film, to
more modern ones, right?
Modern ones, and also we have some romance films in Taiwan. Back in the time, you know, like 琼瑶 novels.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they have what we call as 三厅电影, like the story only happens in your house, in the living room, in the kitchen, like these very, how do you call it, soap opera movie. And then you get to 海角七号, Cape number 7. You have the revival of a Taiwanese film, and then you move on to these new waves, and also you have Taiwan new cinema in the history. So it's a very cool film. So this is definitely a good film if you want to know more about the filmmaking industry in Taiwan. But today, our first film, after our motif, we're actually going to talk about Babylon. Allen, have you watched the film?
No, I haven't.
Have you watched even? Okay, so we're talking about Babylon, and it's it's 2022 historical comedy drama written and directed by Damien Chazelle. And I hope that you have watched La La Land, right?
I've heard about La La Land.
Okay, so yeah, basically it's from the same director, and this film's the cast includes Brad Pitt, Margot Robbie, Diego Calva. He's basically a new star developed by Damien Chazelle. And this film talks about the transition from silent to sound films in Hollywood. So, Allen, do you know that back in the time, the films in Hollywood are silent?
I don't know that. How are they silent?
Have you watched like Choplin's film?
No.
Zhou Bieling's films? Like, it's definitely silent, and you can see these characters, actors, and acting, and they have some signposting in the film saying that, okay, so this is what they're doing, this is what they're saying, because there's no sound.
I've heard about that, but I didn't really watch one of the silent films yet.
Okay, you should watch it. And it was silent, but actually when you're watching the film, they're not silent. The films are not silent because you have live instruments and band playing the music for the movie.
Okay, so it's not really silent, but just the characters are not having a dialogue or something.
Yeah, because they don't have the technical, you know, the technology to record the sound of the film and then play the sound of the film with the visual of the film simultaneously in the cinema.
So all the like background music are added up.
Yeah, added up in live band music. So yeah, it's kind of like epic. So anyway, this film talks about this transition, but I want to talk about the intersexuality with a film that Damien Chazelle definitely loves so much. That is Singing in the Rain, or 万花嬉春. This is a film that actually talks about this Hollywood's transition from silent to, sound film back in 1970s or 60s. Yeah, it is a very old film, but Damien loved this film so much. You can see a lot of intersexuality in La La Land. People are saying that Damien is paying tribute to La La Land to tribute to Singing in the Rain. I'm sorry, in La La Land. Yeah, and actually, if you're watching Babylon, you can see that there are a lot of scenes that are copy and paste from Singing in the Rain.
Okay, this is a little bit more complicated than I thought.
Yeah, so like in
La La Land, there is something about Singing in the Rain.
Yeah, and in
those parts are copy and pasted to Babylon. Is that right?
Yes, and no, those parts are copy and paste from Singing in the Rain to Babylon. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes, right. So, it's kind of like, I think Damien Chazelle is making his own version of Singing in the Rain. He wants to comment on this history and transition of Hollywood, but he wants to make his own version. And there are several interesting things about how Damien Chazelle interacts with film itself. Like, he tells us what films are. For example, he reminds us that films are entertaining. Now, this is a central motif in Singing in the Rain.
Okay.
But Damien Chazelle is approaching this topic differently. So at the start of Babylon, you can see that there are some elephants poop. And it's directly on the camera. So, which means, as audience, you can see the poop. Like, literally, kind of like on your face. So, there are also some sex scenes that are excessive. And Damien is trying to remind us that films are, maybe in reality, there are lots of things that are dirty, but it's entertaining because you would laugh when these scenes happen in Babylon.
Okay.
So that is the cool thing about this movie.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. Like, those down-to-earth things are actually entertaining.
Yeah, and also it talks about the history of Hollywood. Hollywood is probably a factory of stereotypes. It is still a factory of stereotypes.
Yeah,
right?
I agree with that.
And in this film, actually, back in the time, there are some actors who are black and they get the chance to act in a Hollywood film, right? But back in the time, they would ask the black people who are not black enough to use some makeup to make themselves look
more
black.
Tanned.
Yeah, tanned, and then actually really, really black on screen. Because back in the time, the movies are black and white. So you need to make the black people really, really black so that the audience would believe that, oh, this is a black person.
Okay.
And that is creating stereotypes.
Yes.
Right? So Hollywood is definitely a factory of stereotypes. It is still right now. And I think the best film basically about this movie is that it talks about the history that we love so much. Maybe you're not loving it.
But I'm still taken aback. Like, how many things are there in the Babylon movie?
Babylon movie is actually 3 hours long.
Yeah, it's so long that it incorporates so many things in history.
Yeah, so one of the criticism that we have about Babylon is that it is too much for people to take in.
It's too informative, right?
Yeah, too informative and then too much. And then Damien is definitely criticized so much for this part. And at the end of the film, there's even a big montage. Like, you can see Damien, he has bought the copyrights of so many films, including an Avatar and then basically all the best films that you have from the film history, and he put it all in a movie. And I think that is really, really cool. You would definitely love to watch it, Alan. But you have to wait till the end.
And it's too long,
I think you will love it. Alright, so now I'm playing you a song. It's not from Babylon, but I'm playing you a song from the previous film, La La Land. Yes. And what's so interesting about Babylon is that Justin Hurwitz, who is the composer of the film score of Babylon, actually took a lot of motif from La La Land and put it back into Babylon. One of which is this one, Someone in the Crowd. You would definitely hear a a melody, and you'll hear it again in Babylon.
Okay.
So let's give it a listen, and hopefully you all go watch Babylon.
Someone in the crowd could take you where you wanna go. If you're the someone ready to be found, the someone ready to do what you need to do till they discover you and make you more than who you're seeing now. So with the stars aligned, I think I'll stay behind. You've got to go and find that someone in the crowd. That's someone in the Is someone in the crowd the only thing you really see? Watching while the world keeps spinning around. Somewhere there's a place where I find who I'm gonna be. A somewhere that's just waiting to be found.
This is Someone in the Crowd from the film La La Land here on Cinematic Motif. Welcome back to the show. Today we're talking about the movies about filmmaking. Alright, so today joining me on the show is our very good guest and co-host Alan. Welcome back.
Hi.
Okay, so what is the next film that we're going to talk about?
It's Saving Mr. Banks.
Okay. Wait, I want to go back to the previous song a little bit.
Okay.
So when we were listening to the song, did you know that there was a melody like
yeah, that's very iconic.
that is the motif that would go back again into Babylon.
Oh.
Yeah, so you should look out for that.
Is it also like a motive in the Singing in the Rain?
No, it's not.
No,
It's not.
Okay,
It's
so it's
not
just
related. Yeah.
La La Land and Babylon.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so let's move on to the next film.
Okay, so next film is Saving Mr. Banks. It's a biographical drama film in 2013, directed by John Lee Hancock. So this is about the development of the 1964 film Mary Poppins.
You love the movie, right?
Yes, this is so cute.
Yeah.
And Saving Mr. Banks stars Emma Thompson as the author of Mary Poppins and Tom Hanks as the well-known Walt Disney.
Yeah, we all know that this is a film developed by Walt Disney Company, right?
Yeah.
And I think this film, the importance of this film is that it tells us about the rise of Disney movies. You can actually see how Disney movies are made.
Yeah.
Like Walt Disney, he really tells all the film music composers to make catchy tunes for children to sing along.
Yeah.
And that is what he's trying to achieve. And he's trying to sell the dreams. So he wants to integrate the films into the Disneyland that he has.
And not only the music, it also creates a lot of image of the characters. They have to draw tons of drafts to choose which one is the most eye-catching one.
For children, right?
Yeah. So the costumes are also very amazing, I would say.
Yeah. And what's also interesting is that Walt Disney also has to convince the original author for him to get the permission to do the adaptation, right? And Emma Thompson, she's acting like a very weird and an author full of hatred, saying that we are not doing this. I don't want you to ruin my product. So it's a very interesting film. Yeah, if you want to know more about how sorry, I just played the music. If you want to know more about how they do this sort of adaptation and how Walt Disney developed films, you should definitely go watch it. It's called Saving Mr. Banks.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
Yeah, so we're going to continue talking about other films about filmmaking later on, but first let's take a short break and we'll be right back.
Listen. Are you listening? This is the sound of my country.
This is the sound of Taiwan.
Taiwan, a small island with a whole world of sounds.
Alright, so what is the final film that we're going to talk about, Alan?
It's The Book of Solutions.
Yes, and as usual, I will provide you the French version because this is a French film.
Let me do it. Le Livre des Solutions.
Le Livre des Solutions.
It's pretty similar.
Pretty similar. Yeah. So this is a 2023 French comedy drama, and it's actually just released in Taiwan. It was just released in Taiwan. The director of the film is Michael Gondry, and he is the director of Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. You know, 王牌冤家.
Yeah, I've heard about that movie.
Yeah. So this one talks about Mark. He is a director whose life and career are in upheaval. He takes his film crew to continue filming the small village in the Cévennes, in the countryside of France, where his aunt Denise lives. And Mark, he is a crazy director, and he discovers his creativity in the countryside, and he discovers that he is full of ideas. So he decides to make a book called The Book of Solutions with all the advice that he has for people.
To do what?
To do everything.
Okay.
Like how to face difficulties, how to deal with problems, should we continue, or like things like that. Sounds very, very unuseful. And I think the crazy thing about this film is that you can see how a director out of control. So, you know, when you're making films, who is the most important person in the film crew, Alan?
Director? Is that the answer you want?
No, definitely not. I think the most important one would be the producer. Because producer is the one always telling director, you should stop. You should not do this. You should not do that.
I don't know that much about the film crew, so I don't know there's a producer in the film crew.
I think we are all influenced by the auteur theory in the French film.
Yeah.
Like, author is the best. Auteur. Right. So, but actually, producer is important. So in this film, you can see how a director goes out of control. He is definitely creative, as he claims, but he's not a good director. And in this film, he's also telling the editor to do everything that he wants, but he's refusing to watch the draft of the film. And you know, when you're watching films, if the director says that the director cuts the film by himself, most of the time the film would be awkward and bad.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Yeah, because the director is like, I want to keep this, I want to keep that, and the film is going to become a disaster. Yeah. And also in this film, Mark demonstrates how he can make film scores. Usually, we need to ask the composer to do the score for us.
Yeah.
And then we asked the orchestra. We asked the orchestra to do the film score, right?
Yeah.
Mark in the film, he was like shaking his body and then doing everything, and he asked the orchestra to mark, to look at his body gestures.
Sounds so bossy.
And then to make up some music without film score sheets.
Okay.
So this is a really, really crazy film. I think people should definitely go watch it. It is definitely a film that you would love so much. So this film is called The Book of Solutions. It's a French film
Yeah.
from our director Michael Gondry. You would definitely know that he is this sort of crazy person that would
Yeah,
do
it
this
sounds
kind of-
so crazy.
Yeah,
Maybe it's difficult to deal with.
yeah, definitely. All right, so these are the 3 films, or actually the 4 films that we share with you today about filmmaking. I hope you would go watch it. And as always, if you've got any requests or feedback, please send your email to wanson@rti.org.tw. And also, you can follow me on my Instagram and YouTube. My handle is @wansonscfe. So, Alan, I hope you enjoyed the movies that I share with you today.
Thank you.
Is there any particular one that you would like to watch?
I have watched The Saving Mr. Banks. It's really moving.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe the last one, The Book of Solutions, because I really want to know how crazy the producer is.
Yeah, I think film is like this. If you have a bad day, go watch a film.
But even if you have a good day, you can also watch a film.
Yeah, and the comedy, no matter it's a comedy or a very epic historical film like Babylon, it will refresh your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you have a bad day, go watch the film. This has been Cinematic Motif. Final song for you today is Daniel Powter and Bad Day on the radio for you. And I'm going to be back next week.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
And I don't need no carrying on. You stand in the line just to hit a new low. You're faking a smile with the coffee to go. And tell me your life's been way offline. You falling to pieces every time. And I don't need no carrying on. Cause you had a bad day, you're taking one down. You sing a sad song just to turn it around. You say you don't know, you tell me don't lie. You're working a smile and you go for a ride. You had a bad day, the camera don't lie. You're coming back down and you really don't mind. You had a bad day. You had a bad day. Well, you need a blue sky holiday. The point is they laugh at what you say. And I don't need no carrying on. You had a bad day, you're taking one down. You sing a sad song just to turn it around. You say you don't know, you tell me don't lie. You're working a smile and you go for a ride. You had a bad day, the camera don't lie. You're coming back down and you really don't mind. You had a bad day. Sometimes the system goes on the blink and the whole thing it turns out wrong. You might not make it back and you know that you could be well, that's wrong. And I'm not wrong. Yeah. So where was the passion when you needed the most? Oh, you and I, you kick up the leaves and the magic is lost. 'Cause you had a bad